When you think Russia, you think Vladimir Putin. This man has been the face of the country for a total of almost 2 decades, and he has shaped not only his homeland, but the rest of the world with his power, influence, and of course, money. But get this, no one knows exactly how much Mr. Putin is worth. Some sources claim $70 billion. Others say he's amassed a $200 billion fortune, which would make him the wealthiest person on the planet. So, what's going on here? Don't you worry, today we are finding out as we take a look at Vladimir Putin, discerning just how he became so darn wealthy. It's hard to think of Vladimir Putin as anything other than the president of Russia, due to the fact that he has been in the news quite a bit over the past few years. But Mr. Putin, born in 1952, grew up in humble beginnings. His parents were working class, his father both a decorated war veteran and factory worker. Putin was an only child, and he spent his early life in Leningrad, living in a Soviet Union-style apartment, which means communal living. Believe it or not, he spent his early years living with 2 other families in the same apartment. As a young man, Putin enjoyed watching TV and reading spy novels. But in a rather telling move of where his interests truly lied, he went to the KGB Security and Intelligence Agency with only one question on his mind: how could he join? KGB had one bit of advice for the young Vladimir Putin: study law. And Putin did. He enrolled in Leningrad State University, worked hard, and eventually went on to graduate and get a job as a mid-level agent in the Foreign Intelligence Division. And this is where we come to the true turning point in Vladimir Putin's life. In 1989, an anti-communist mob gathered outside the KGB offices, and Mr. Putin realized he couldn't do anything about this mob without the approval of Moscow. And Moscow didn't say a word. This realization of the stagnant nature of the Russian government changed Mr. Putin's life. He later said, "The business of Moscow is silent. I got the feeling that the country no longer existed, that it had disappeared. It was clear that the Union was ailing, and that it had a terminal disease without a cure, a paralysis of power." When Putin left the KGB in 1991, he took this mindset with him and worked for the city's first Democratic mayor, and made sure he was the go-to guy for any and all the mayor's needs. He was fiercely loyal and even resigned rather than accepting a job with the opposition when election time came and his mayor lost. Putin said, "It's better to be hanged for loyalty than be rewarded for betrayal." Yeah, this guy was intense. The year is now 1996, and Putin is the head of the FSB, an organization that replaced his former agency, the KGB. Putin was then named Prime Minister of Russia by the current president Boris Yeltsin, and when Yeltsin stepped down suddenly in 1999, Putin was named president. It's a wild story, we know, but we have to say, it paints Vladimir Putin as a highly ambitious, driven, and fiercely loyal individual. Say what you will about him, but when he wants something, he gets it done, and he gets it done his way. And one of his first moves as president was to make sure that he had as much power as he could. He struck a deal with the oligarchs of his time. These were highly influential business leaders that have much political power, and said that he would not interfere with their business, as long as they in turn did not interfere with his. He also curated a sort of strongman image. There are many photos of President Putin shirtless in the wilderness, clearly looking as manly and rugged as possible. And to be fair, these branding techniques have worked. But it was also in his actions that he gained the reputation of an alpha male. In 2013, Robert Kraft, the head of the New England Patriots, claimed that Vladimir Putin stole his Super Bowl ring, a ring that costs roughly $33,000. Apparently, Putin took the ring right out of Kraft's hand when he was showing off the ring. And Putin said, "I can kill someone with this ring." Then Putin put the ring in his pocket and walked off. Now, we have to say that Putin's representatives deny any such interaction taking place. But if this story is true, we really wouldn't be surprised. Putin is also known for exerting his power not only with his action, but in his luxurious purchases. See, Vladimir Putin likes nice things, only he wouldn't have you thinking that he can afford them. Believe it or not, Putin claims he lives a modest life and lives in a small apartment with frugal spending, and lives comfortably off his $133,000 per year paycheck from being the president of Russia. Jason Bush, a senior analyst at Eurasia Group, has said that everything checks out when you look at the documents. Putin does seem to have a modest bank account of only 38.5 million rubles, or $676,000, that he has made from his time as president, military pension, and savings. But with just a little digging, it starts to look like this is all just a cover for the truth that Mr. Putin is a billionaire, a multi-billionaire. In fact, he may be the richest man on the planet. Bill Browder, an investor in Russia who was expelled from the country, says all you have to do is take a look at the president's wrist to see the proof of his incredible secret fortune. To quote Mr. Browder, Putin's visible watch collection is worth multiples of his official salary. The wealth came as a result of extortion and massive theft from state funds. He claims that Mr. Putin is worth an incredible $200 billion, considering Jeff Bezos' net worth is $150 million. This is quite a claim to make. So, where is the money? It's claimed that it is spread out between close friends and family members. These people have earned millions, and in deals that could only have occurred with the president's patronage. And for someone who claims he lives a life of an everyman, we gotta say, there are many reports of Mr. Putin's wild and outlandish spendings. Putin reportedly has over 20 palaces and villas at his disposal, including one secret palace that was built using illegal state funds. This massive mansion is supposedly valued at $1 billion and contains a private movie theater, a landing pad with room for 3 helicopters, incredible wall art, and bedrooms fit for a king. Putin is also linked to owning multiple private jets, yachts, and helicopters. One of his planes can carry 186 passengers, is reported to have a cabin that costs $1 million, which has been fitted by jewelers, and a toilet which cost $100,000. But the spending doesn't stop there. Mr. Putin is reported to have 4 yachts, one of which went through a state-of-the-art upgrade in 2005 that reportedly cost $1.2 billion. Another of these luxury liners can apparently house 14 guests in its 16 bedrooms. If you ask us, all this doesn't sound like the life of someone with modest income. And frankly, there's so much more that Putin reportedly purchases. Putin's watch collection is a bit of a marvel, and considering the watches were mentioned by name by Bill Browder in his testimony before Congress, we'd say, yeah, these are some rather ritzy timepieces. Sources say that Putin owns 11 watches that come to a total of $687,000. But other sources claim that he has a Patek Philippe worth $1 million that went up for auction in 2017. His clothes are nothing to sneeze at either. He is known to wear bespoke suits and Valentino ties. The cost of these suits, considering they are custom made, fitted, and are crafted by one tailor, they cost a whopping $5,500 each. Apparently, the tags are removed from these suits so that journalists won't be able to see exactly what brand Mr. Putin is wearing. Again, all in a move to keep the public off the trail of his secret fortune. And that's just his formal wear. When working out, Putin is known to throw on some casual sweatpants that cost $1,425 due to them being a Loro Piana silk and cashmere blend. When you add in the matching top, that brings this little workout getup to $3,200. If that's all still not enough to convince you that this is one of the richest, if not the richest man in the world, check out this reported quote from the leader of Russia. "I am the wealthiest man, not just in Europe, but in the whole world. I collect emotions. I am wealthy in that the people of Russia have twice entrusted me with the leadership of a great nation such as Russia. I believe that is my greatest wealth." Whether you agree or disagree with his strict nationalist views and authoritarian government model, you have to admit that Vladimir Putin is doing rather well for himself. He has been the leader of one of the largest and most influential countries in the world for a total of almost 2 decades, and it doesn't seem that his approval rating is dropping anytime soon. On top of that, he clearly has money. How much exactly, we may never know, but one thing we do know for sure is that he is certainly one of the richest.